Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. So today we will be changing out this slug of a plastic piece of junk. And as you can see, I've already got the roof rack on the car already. This is what we're putting on. This is called a FABWITZ Industries stainless steel snorkel. So it is their 5-inch one as well. It's in the seamless finish, so it means no welds are shown. It's all polished right up prior to before they actually paint the thing as well. Anyway, so we'll get into this week's episode. Why a 5-inch and why this one in particular? Now the reasoning behind it was we were going through quite a few different snorkels before we chose this one, and yeah, the missus and I, we came up with this was the best looking one that we could find in all the photos. Right at the end it was between this one and a FABWITZ 5-inch one. Now I know 5-inch sounds pretty extreme, but when we were looking through all the photos that we could find, these two in particular definitely stood out and looked the best, in our opinion. We have had a 4-inch one in an Axis Fab before, in our previous vehicle, in our single cab cruiser, and we wanted more of like a flush cut end rather than just a hard cut. I'll put little photos up on the screen now just so you can sort of get the idea of what I mean. Yeah, anyway, so we'll get into start ripping off that plastic piece of junk off. Hey guys, thanks for watching it this far into this week's episode. Please scan the QR code at the bottom of your screen now to subscribe to our channel. We really would appreciate it. Thanks, and we'll get back to this week's episode. So as you guys might have remembered, in one of the previous episodes before we went up north, we actually siliconed all the joints up to try and make it waterproof, because we didn't know how deep the water crossings were going to be. Probably not deep enough for this car, but it's one of those things I'd rather be safe rather than sorry, so hopefully it doesn't come off with too much hassle. And obviously that rubber mount's already fairly stuck. There we go. So that silicone has actually held up, and I couldn't separate that either, so it's obviously done the majority of its job. While I've got the airbox apart, so this filter has done everything from the gib, so I replaced this filter after we did the gib. So we did Steep Point and Ningaloo, Yardie Creek, you name it, and there's zero dust coming past here as well, so there's absolutely nothing in there. And I just want to show you the top of the lid of the airbox. I've got a torch just to try and show you. So as you can see, there's absolutely nothing in there. There's a little bit on this edge, which as you can see, so far, nothing there. But that would have been back from when I was running the paper filter. And you can see over here as well, into the same corner. So it's, again, that's from the paper filter, that is. Nothing from when I've been running the oiled filter. Anyway, I thought that was pretty good in terms of how clean it was. And then I'll show you the bottom side of this filter. As you can see, that is pretty filthy with the amount of bugs and everything like that.
So it might be worth me replacing this filter while I'm not going to replace it. All I'm going to do is pull it apart and re-oil it. So it'll mean I'll probably end up changing it for the back to the K&N filter for now, until that one's all dry and clean and oiled back up, and then I'll chuck that one back in. Because you guys may not be aware, but this car is going back for a retune, and we've got something special and spicy happening on in the engine bay as well, into that department. Anyway, so I better not let too much out of the bag for that, because that's for another episode. That'll happen in the new year, probably around February, March, I reckon, somewhere around there. Got a few spicy things going on there. Anyway, so we'll get on into ripping the bottom half of this airbox out. There we go, as you can see, so I've got that box out. That is quite dirty in comparison to the top of the lid. Anyway, with that done, shall go ahead, rip this out. That's the other part to the intake. The template, this is one of their first ones that they've done. It's not the first snorkel, but it's one of. So they didn't have everything in email for me. So they've sent me photos of a 4-inch install. And this one in particular, I've had to cut out the space so I can trace. Anyway, all I'm gonna do, I know where will be exactly right, and where will be pretty close. So along these big open areas, I reckon that'll be all right. Here might be a little bit iffy, and through here as well. Now I'll finish going around and tracing it all on there so I can bugger this piece of paper out of my way, because I've got a special tool to cut this out with. It'll be mind blowing. The other day we went in to TKD, they had a special on tools, and I'll show you exactly what I got to cut this out. It's gonna blow your mind away. It's gonna do the job in about that quick. You ready? Gotta find a battery for it too. Here it is. You should cut the hole out nice and easy. What do you reckon? Just straight in there like that. Chop it a bit? Nah, I'm just kidding. Righto, this is it here. So it's a Milwaukee nibbler, that one there. So all it does is punches, there's a little blade in here. I don't know if you can see that. It travels up and down that way, and basically just cuts little moons out. Imagine like a hole punch, but if you were to move with a hole punch, it'd be cutting like moon shapes. And it's essentially what it does. Let's see if I can slow it down. Yeah, you can sort of just see it moving. Anyway, it's probably going to be quite noisy, so I might have to put some music over the top of this. But anyway, go ahead, attach this little bag because it cuts all the cuttings. Don't know how this goes yet. Like a little circlip thing. I wonder if it goes like that somehow. Yeah, I'm gonna stuff this up, I think. Anyway, so as you can see, I've done a quick little test cut.
Let's go to Central Park, you'll break my heart. Girl, you're so bad for me. Let's go to Central Park, you'll break my heart. Girl, you're so bad for me.
So that's the first main piece of the puzzle cut out. All I'm going to do is I'm going to run the pinch weld around now and go for a bit of a test cut.
Bad traffic ain't a waste of time. When you were there to hold my hand, but
I finished cutting it all out. I've done a final test fit. I've just gone around and given it a quick sand. So all I'm going to do now is just go around, paint all the edges, make it all nice. I've had to cut out the little bracket that sits here to mount the top piece and the guard together to the body, and it looks like where the side of the guard also mounts down there as well. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead, give it a quick paint. I managed to get the paint from one of the auto shops in town, so they've actually colour matched it for me as well in the silver to the car. It's got a little ball inside with a little paintbrush. Now I'll give this a quick shake up and I'll go ahead and give it a good painting. And the paint is just there just to stop all the edges from going rusty and then running down the guard and looking like crap. Anyway, some of you might wonder why I bought this. It's a pretty special tool. It's like $500 I think now, rather than just using an angle grinder. And the reason for that is I didn't want sparks going all over the nice paintwork I got. Yeah, that's the most obvious reason as to why. And inside here it's just a few little shavings that I'm gonna have to vacuum up later on. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, those are like $400, these little nibblers are. You can probably buy cheaper ones, but all the rest of my tools are all Milwaukee anyway. Gonna make sure that this is dry enough now. Righto, so I'm gonna go ahead, grab the pinch weld, and then start chucking it all back together.
Your eyes blinking at me like a caution light. I wonder if you see it. I don't really need a single other reason to make you mine. It might take some time to change your mind. I know. I wish I never let you go. Oh, I wish I never let you go. Oh, I wish I never let you go.
So I've put this pinch weld back on now, it's all back together. I've given the inside of the guard a quick blowout as well. All that paint's all dry. So all I'm going to do now is just go around and make sure I've seated all of this pinch weld. It's probably some of the best stuff I've actually seen in a snorkel kit. It's definitely, the last stuff I've dealt with was pretty terrible compared to this one. Alright, so we'll go ahead. It's a bit big. FABWITZ supplied me with these stainless steel bolts and washers. I'm probably just going to use the factory ones up the top because they're black, and then I'll still use that one there down the bottom just because it looks nicer than the factory one down the bottom. It's quite bulky. Mounted that snorkel. Just going around and just pulling all the pinch weld down to the snorkel just to fill in the gap and to make sure that the pinch weld isn't like it's all flat, I guess you could say, versus being all like ripply all around it. So just tuck all that all the way in. I've still got to now tighten these top ones up here. So I'll do that in a sec, and then chuck the airbox back in and mount the intake piping to the airbox through there as well. I've had to cut the inside of the guard there, which you probably can't see, it's pretty minimal. Had to take about 10 mil out of the top so that will clear, and then these cables and diff breaders and stuff, they will be all out of the way anyway. There's enough room for that to come past and clear. Anyway, so I'll tighten up those top bolts and then I'll get on to mounting that airbox back in. So now I'm going to go ahead and plumb this back in. So I'll bring you guys over so you can sort of see. My last one, this was actually, the snorkel was actually more in the guard. And you can sort of see just down here past my finger. So there, I'll be able to get a screwdriver down the side here and get to it. So it's not going to be that difficult to get the screwdriver in there and tighten that up. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and probably get that on after actually. Have that one there. Alright, time to get the base of the airbox back in. And I've forgotten something. Got to get these clays clamp on as well. That's what I forgot. So now, yep, in there like that. These cables out of the way. Alright, so go ahead, I'll put the filter back in. As you guys can see, I've just cleaned that. Don't worry about the edge of that underneath, that's irrelevant anyway, because it's all underneath. And little trick that I do when I lube it, if you burl it and there's still, and you try wringing it out and there's still oil coming out of it, you've got way too much oil in it. So I know some people say that they have problems with them interfering with the mass sensor. So yeah, little trick, put less on than what you think, and then when you try to wring it, there shouldn't be any residue. Like, your hands are still going to end up oily, but there shouldn't be any residue within it all. Anyway, so that's the filter in. We'll go ahead, we'll chuck that cap back on. Got the Maguires. Stuff here makes everything all nice and shiny. Give it a good polishing. It's all polished up. It's all looking smicko and shiny now. Go ahead, I'll chuck the bonnet down. Still got to get gas struts for this one day. Pick you up and show you the finished product. Show you how cool it looks. So you can see there, doesn't stick out too far. You got that sexy looking tip on it. Oh yeah, that was good. With the rack and the snorkel on, all done. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying this content, guys. I really would appreciate it if you do. I'm gonna try and hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. So if you are enjoying the content, please make sure you do hit the subscribe button. Anyway, with that, I hope you guys all have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I'll still try and put out some more videos between Christmas and New Year's as well. It just depends how busy I am. Anyway, with that, we'll see you guys later. See ya.